Welcome to another Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido. We are going to be having some special guests today. We're excited to share some big ahas from a great conference. But before I bring our guest on, you are watching Luxury Fridays. You're in the right place, whether you're a consumer and you just want to hear about the market. The Fed raised interest rates again this week and inflation numbers came out. So if you want to hear more statistics and mortgage rates and just real estate in general, there's something for you if you're a consumer. This show was dedicated primarily to real estate agents, brokers, whether they be with independents or franchises. Again, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. We have some big milestones we'll talk about today as well. And please type in your questions that you have for me or our guest. Just go ahead and type those in to the comments section, whether you're watching this on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, LinkedIn. When you type in your comments in the, type in your questions in the comments section, we will see them. We can even bring you on. I'll type in a link to share. If you want to come on camera, I'll type that into the comment sections as well, and we can bring you on camera like we are going to do with our first guest. I want to be very sensitive to her time. She's been on in the past. I have my good friend Noelle. Noelle, how you doing from Minnesota?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You know, I wanted to bring you on because you were recently at a conference that looked amazing, and I reached out and said, hey, do you mind jumping on our Luxury Fridays to share maybe your top 3 takeaways? And so I go to a lot of conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences. I attend a lot of conferences, and I always like to share 3 or 4 big takeaways, because if I absorbed it, maybe my audience or maybe other agents would benefit. In this case, role reversal here, and you were at this conference. So tell me about the conference and who was all there. And before we do that, tell everybody about who you are and how we know each other, and then we'll hear a little bit about the takeaways.
Well, thank you. Yes, that was a packed question there. I'm Noelle Nielsen, and I am out of Minnesota. You can find me very easily on social media. It is Noelle the Minnesotan. And we know each other through a variety of different things, actually. I think we originally met through a group called Lab Coat Agents.
Yes. 3 or 4 years ago out in California. You spoke at it, but did you kind of MC it as well?
I did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Good memory. And then we've just stayed in touch through the power of social media. And now we happen to both be at the same brokerage and both have a love for luxury real estate and all things luxury. And it just goes to show the power of staying connected, the power of attending events like the one that I'm going to talk about today that I just attended, and just really constantly filling your own bucket so that you can fill the buckets of others, whether it is coming through with knowledge for your clients, or if you're running a team or a brokerage or something similar, to be able to pour back into those people. It's super important to go to things where you can fill your bucket.
Fill your bucket. My daughter, I like that term, by the way, because several years ago, my daughter was talking about her teacher shared with her filling the bucket. Like, what fills your bucket? What makes you feel good? Who makes you, fills your bucket with love or excitement? So I've never heard that when it comes to real estate conferences, filling the bucket. But I like that. So, so those that are watching, whether you're in real estate, we have some people probably watching that aren't in real estate. So whatever you do for a living, whatever your industry is, what does filling the bucket mean to you?
Yeah. Well, to me,
yeah.
You mean? Well, I think it even if you're not in real estate, filling your bucket is important, meaning you're either doing some personal development work or you're spending time, really internally reflecting and taking in information that then you can disseminate with other people, finding ways to enjoy life. And so that you can bring that joy to others, really. So, whether you're a spiritual person, maybe you start your mornings out like in the word or something, or maybe you attend events like this one. I would say that the one that I just went to, it had a real estate focus, but you could have gone to it as a non-real estate professional and come away with nuggets to apply in your life and nuggets to help other people apply in their lives, right? And the more stuff that you focus on, like that, the more full your own bucket is going to be in order to fill other people's buckets. That's what I mean.
That's great. I love that. Being unselfish, thinking about others. I have a saying, and I'll pull it up here. I could probably have a more, I don't know what the right word is, I guess, positive visual for what I'm about to show you. But this is literally on my the base of my computer, and it is kind of along the lines of what you're talking about, and it's number of lives affected. So this is a gravestone, which isn't positive necessarily, but when our day comes, and it has number of lives affected on there. That's why we do this live stream, right? I'm not getting paid to do this. You're not getting paid to be on here. We're doing this with the goal of inspiring and educating and helping others. And I know you speak at a lot of events, and you do a lot of things out of the kindness of your heart with your time as well. And the number of lives affected, that's on my computer, Noelle. And so that's why I do what I do. And so filling other buckets is really important. So tell us a little bit about the event you were at. What was it called? Where was it at? And how many people were there? And then we'll kind of ask you some questions about your takeaways.
Yeah. So it was called Forward Movement. It was actually put on by a guy who is traditionally, he's a lender, right? And he actually reached out to me and asked me to come to the event. I hadn't even seen anything about it, or I didn't know about this event. So when he messaged me on Instagram, I got this message and I was just like, is this a real message? Is this a real event?
Spam? Is this a spam?
Yeah, is it spam?
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I paid attention and responded, because honestly, I do go to multiple events, almost a month. I'm at multiple events, and this over the last like 2 years, this is probably one of the top of my list. And it was just a one-day event. It was called Forward Movement. The guy that reached out to me, his name is Neil, Neel Dhingra. Dhingra. If you're looking for him, he has an amazing social media profile. He is really killing it on Instagram. And a lot of the people that were at this event are using the same social media platforms. So most of them are using, Instagram to a super high level. They are using YouTube to a super high level, and maybe a little bit of Facebook, but Facebook was really not a lot of what they talked about in that one-day event. And so one of the speakers that he had there that opened up the event, his name was Cole Hatter, Hatter, Cole Hatter. I'd highly recommend following him, especially if you're in real estate and you're feeling like, okay, you're sensing that maybe a shift in the market is coming. You're sensing that some things are happening in our economy. He got up and started the day out with a whole bunch of just goodness to sort of strike away the fear and look at a potential shift as something that could be a good thing coming. He started out by saying, obviously our times feel a little bit of chaos. Like there's just chaos out there. When chaos happens, massive disruption happens. But when massive disruption happens, there's also a chance for massive opportunity. And he started talking about how so many people in a downturn or down economy, that's where wealth a lot of the times is made and created by people that know how to take advantage of opportunities that are in front of them, that know how to take advantage of a market swing, and that know how to use their network, know how to get creative with financing options. I mean, he just came out and really like blew the lid off of the conference, and that's how the day started. And honestly, it set the tone for the day. Most of the people that I'm going to mention that he had on his stage have done the same thing, where they have created wealth by taking advantage of opportunities within the real estate market. Right? Many of them went through the shift of 08, 09, and many of them learned how to thrive during a downturn market and how to use their network to their advantage to be able to creatively finance properties and buy these properties and then turn them around to being a cash flow resource for themselves. So
real quick,
yeah,
you brought up some really good information. By the way, those that are watching on Instagram, go to luxuryfridays.com, or more, better yet, go to YouTube and subscribe to Marketing Luxury Group. You'll see we're streaming live on YouTube, and I can be more interactive. I can bring you on. You can ask your questions to Noelle or myself, and you can see Noelle. If you go to YouTube, click on, type in Marketing Luxury Group. So again, we're on Luxury Fridays here. I have my special guest who's a licensed agent here in Minnesota, and she does some amazing things for the industry. So she's just sharing one of the big takeaways was, opportunity during a shifting market. And so, many people forget 2 years ago, I'd call it March and April of 2020. People were hitting the panic button as well, and many agents, many real estate agents, many companies had to learn how to adapt, go virtual. Teachers, right? Educators, people had to learn to adapt pretty quick, right? And so, more agents are comfortable doing, live streams like this and bringing you on and video walkthroughs of properties. And so, again, it wasn't just 2008 when we had to adapt quickly.
right.
Now that was a short two months, and then we quickly realized that the real estate market was going to be affected positively by what was going on with COVID and people working from home and wanting more space, etc. So I wanted just to bring that up. So continue on.
All right. So, he went through three different things that he was looking forward to and going to be putting his money toward in a shifting market. One would be short-term rentals. That is still a very popular option. People are still going to be going on vacations. People are still going to be renting those VRBOs and Airbnbs. A second would be multifamily. And then the third was storage units, which I thought was really interesting. You don't hear a lot of people necessarily talking about that. That's something that they're looking for and that they're investing into. So just three things that a top investor recommends looking at or considering to add to your portfolio. I thought that was a great takeaway. Another person that got on the stage was actually the guy that I just mentioned that put the event on, Neil Dingra. And he gave this whole story about how he basically started his social media channel with nothing. And now here this guy is putting on an event, and he got Ed Milet to come to his event. He got Gary Vee to come to his event. He got that Cole Hatter to come to his event. He got another guy named Brad Lee to come to his event. I mean, he got all of these people at his event that I go to so many of these events, and even just having one of those people is a huge, huge deal. But to have them all on the same stage in the same day.
There had to be a lot of expense to put on an event and to bring people in like this.
I'm sure he spent quite a bit of money on it, but he also has leveraged his social media and really been diligent about building and being consistent with what he's posting on social media. And he's built out a niche for himself. So he went through and highlighted all of these videos that he had done throughout the years, and they didn't start out perfect. They started out just him being awkward on camera, but consistently upping his game, consistently adding better and better equipment, consistently getting better and better at editing. But the primary thing was the consistency in his posting, and then also the consistency with reaching out to these guys to grow his network. And he had videoed the whole process of it. And it was so amazing and inspirational for me to watch that. And if you go through his social media profile and you scroll way back at some of the stuff that he used to do to now, it kind of shows you that as long as you've got the drive and you push forward, anyone can do this. Like you can be good on video. You can get better at it. It takes practice. And then he talked a lot about on his reels and on his just general videos, using hooks, being careful with the kind of copy that you're using. It's the same thing with sales, right? And you're the king of that, Michael. With what kind of languaging are you using with people when you're putting posts out there? What kind of languaging are you using to get a call back, right? To get them to message you back? Are you putting a hook in your posts? Are you putting something in there to get them to write back to you? And if you're not, you're wasting an opportunity.
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. So whether it be a Facebook message, a live stream video, whether it be an advertisement, whether it be a neighborhood mailer, a just listed, just sold postcard, there's got to be a hook, a call to action, right? Why should they contact you? Whether it be some kind of free report, whether it be an individualized letter, where it looks like it's being sent just to them because you incorporate their name in the letter versus just is this a mass mailer? Just like you went to this conference because of private message, and in your mind, you're like, wait, did he send some VA in the Philippines to reach out to me? Or is this really him? Or, right? I mean, these are all things that went through your mind.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing too that all these guys do that they're all very insistent on is they are the ones that are running their Instagram pages. So if you get a message back from them, it's them writing, and they're not giving that over to someone else. Even Gary V, when he was up on the stage, Gary V was talking about how if you get a message from him on Instagram, that's coming from him. He is managing his Instagram feed, and he wants people to know that he takes that really seriously, and he takes the time to do it because now is the time to build. He did not talk about this on the day of the event, but he just posted into his Instagram a couple days ago this video for 55-year-old men. This was the title of his video. He's like, if you're a 55-year-old man or even older, this video is for you. It's not too late. Your life is only half over. People are living till they're 100 right now. Like, don't use the mentality of like,
don't tell me it was an erectile dysfunction message.
It was not.
Okay.
No, but he was saying that a lot of people use that as like their excuse for not doing something, right? A lot of them use age as like, I wish I would have done that when I was younger, right? I wish I would have started building my social media profile when I was younger. And instead he's saying, no, don't just listen to something like this and say, well, that's for the kids. That's for younger people. No, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to plug in. Now is the time to get on Instagram. Now is the time to get on YouTube. It doesn't matter what age you are. Just go ahead and do it. That's right. And so, that is true. Like when you said that I was wondering if it was a VA, I kind of was, because part of me is, I think we're all just used to people like outsourcing everything. Yeah. And there are some things that are worth it to not outsource. There are some things that are worth it to keep your hand on. Now, is he editing his own videos and doing all that? No, like he's having other people do that, but he is managing the actual relationship development and the actual, and that's one of those things too, probably even partially how I'm on this podcast. Like after that event, I'm pretty sure that I was on your page, like teasing you and writing jokes to you, like on social media.
Yeah, because I was like, tell me like where you're at, because I'm always intrigued, right? Like what events are going on. I mean, iron sharpens iron, for those of you that are watching and you're like, well, I don't get a lot from these events. I think the best takeaways a lot of times from these events is the networking and from a Minnesota real estate agent, you're talking to other real estate agents, or I know you're you have much bigger ambitions than just selling homes and building a network and doing all these things. And you're meeting these top influencers. You know, Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. So for those of you that are thinking about going to a conference, or you're not sure, or maybe you're shy, you know, step out of your comfort zone. That's really where the magic happens. And you know, I think for the left brain introverts out there, you know, the pandemic and not going to conferences, they probably, it didn't affect them as much. But for a lot of those right brain creative folks and the, you know, the extroverts, like, you know, the pandemic and not going to conferences and seeing friends or networking, and like it affected them, I think, a lot more.
Yeah. I always say never let a good conference go to waste. Even the most extroverted people can walk into a room knowing no one and feel uncomfortable, right? When I said yes to going to this event, I didn't know who was going. Like I didn't go with friends. I didn't fly down there anticipating to meet any friends. Now I went there and happened to know some of the people that were there. But I actually have had the best experiences at some of these events, not knowing anyone and forcing myself to get out of my comfort zone. And you can do this with anything. I mean, it could be you're just getting started in real estate and you don't know where to go. Sign up for a chambers event. Go and just ask someone a question, a simple question, and that will lead into a conversation, which will then draw other people in and then draw more people in. And you will start learning that if you just go and you ask someone a simple question, people love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
They absolutely love to talk about themselves. And it's no different whether you're at an event or you're at the grocery store, right? You can put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and walk out with nuggets and relationships if you choose to.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. So, you know, you have a very supportive husband, you know, because you do attend these events. You know, you have kids at the house, but you also have animals on your property. So there's a lot of moving parts, which says a lot about your supporting family, but it also says a lot about your organization and your dedication. Because, you know, I think about when I was a teacher, I didn't miss hardly any days. I think in my career, one official sick day. And I know my wife's a teacher and she doesn't like missing school either as a teacher, because the prep work just to get the substitute and the lesson plan it's easier to go in like than to do all that. So same thing with you. You know, I know you got a lot of moving parts and coverage for showings and making sure your husband's on board to help out. And so you're probably selective on which events you go to as well because of that.
I am, but I've also developed the mentality that I think a lot of us get coached on like, oh, we have to say no to more things. You know, we have to say no. Like there's a lot of people that are coaching us on how to say no. And I've lived the opposite way. If I can say yes, I try to say yes to opportunities, to putting myself in places. Because by saying yes, you are actually saying no to something else, right? But I have learned that over the years, if I put myself in these rooms and I get into these events, I am going to maximize that opportunity. I'm going to take that opportunity, and that hopefully is going to turn into further opportunities down the road, a larger network. And you know, some of these people, the whole saying is your network is your net worth, right? If you don't step out,
I think you've heard me say that before.
Yeah, right. And if you don't step out of your comfort zone and work on your network, your net worth might never change.
Yeah.
Unless you like have all the knowledge inside of your own head. You know, you need to get out there and put yourself in places where you are going to be in front of people that you can learn from, that are going to influence you to want to do more, to want to do better, to want to better yourself, to want to better the experiences for your clients or for the agents who are with you or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's a great point. You know, we've talked about, I think Zig Ziglar once said, you hang out with 9 dead broke people, you're bound to be the 10th, right? So hang out with 9 overachievers, people that get the most out of their talent. They're always trying to get better. They're builder uppers versus puller downers, right? When I was a teacher, I was around some really negative people. They were just toxic. And it was just like Shawshank Redemption. climbing through the sewer and coming out to freedom. It was just the chains were lifted because of the toxicity, right? Like your environment. Some people watching this, you can't change your environment. Maybe it's who you're married to. I don't know, but try to focus on positive people and try to focus on whether it be podcasts, who you surround with, who you surround yourself with. What are some ways that you remain positive and driven, Noelle?
Going to stuff like this, right? Going to events like this, surrounding myself with other positive people, being cognizant of the people in your life that aren't positive and what you bring to them and what you don't bring to them, right? Like you said, there are some times where you can't necessarily change. You can't change who your family is, right? You can't change some of that stuff. But knowing that you're in control of some of the conversation that you have with them, if you've got a brilliant idea about something, but you know that there's that one person or that one friend that's just going to be a Debbie Downer in your life about that idea, well, don't talk to them about that idea. Go find someone else to talk to that idea about.
Yeah.
And really, really, like I started, having your bucket filled. If you are just feeling like you're really down or you're feeling like things are negative or toxic, go do something to fill your bucket. Go find something, even if it's just a matter of listening to a podcast, right? All of these people that I'm mentioning right now, they all have podcasts. They all have YouTube channels. They all have free content out there that you can consume that are going to encourage you and motivate you internally. That one of the other guys that was at this event, his name is Brad Lee, Lea. And speaking of building your net worth, he said a saying, if you want to build net worth, start with your self-worth. And I loved that. Building your confidence level, surrounding yourself with people that are going to build you up instead of tear you down is super important. And if you start to get the sense that someone in your life is really toxic, well, just don't spend as much time with that person. Maybe don't pick up the phone to call and complain to them. The Ed Milet, who ended the whole day, he came out and said, hey, if you're finding yourself hanging out with friends that are just talking about memories instead of idea generating and future conversations, that right there is a problem, because you're surrounding yourself with people that want to live in the past instead of focusing on the future. And so find people that you can dream with, find people that you can explore opportunities with, find people that you can expand your network, right? To people that are thinking about and talking about things that you want to be talking about.
Yeah. So one of the things I use the term rear view mirror syndrome. That's tough to say. Say that 3 times fast. Rear view mirror syndrome. But, there's a lot of people out there that, I do believe what you focus on expands, right? And so there's a lot of people that keep looking back at the rear view, whether it be great memories or they're a victim of tough relationship, something happened. And it's tough to move forward. It's tough to drive a car forward if you keep focusing in reverse or the rear view mirror. And so that's the same concept. You hit the nail on the head. And you brought up, I got to give a little plug here. You brought up podcast. And so literally we just had, it just released yesterday, our 200th episode of our podcast, Luxury Listing Specials, just released yesterday. I had Undercover Billionaire Glenn Stearns on, and he shares his rags to riches story, and there's some key nuggets there. But Glenn was amazing. Again, you guys can go to Luxury Listing Podcast to listen to that. Again, we release a new episode each week. Every other week, it's with a guest. I've had Noelle on. It's a guest. It's anywhere from 25 to 35 minutes in length. Glenn's was a longer one, 38 minutes. It was just nugget after nugget after nugget. And he didn't start out on third base. He talked about how he became a parent as a teenager, and he struggled, right? The finances that put back and everything else. So he talked about turbulence and 2008 market and have to dig out of that and start up again. So success leaves clues. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here on our Friday streams, as well as in our podcast. Last week, Noelle, we were at an event out in out in Sacramento. Brent Gove had us out. It was a sold out event, and we had agents that we had 3 or 4 non-licensed real estate agents. Literally, they came to the event, and I'll share this with you right here. Here's the event right there. And can hold on for a second. What? Let me see. There you go. There was the event right there. You can hold on for a second. Hold on. I got a bad echo. Are you hearing that echo?
I can hear it. Yeah.
Hold on.
There you go.
I muted myself. Is that better?
That's better.
All right, that was weird. So I did this event last week. I muted myself. Is that better?
Oh no.
Goodness. That was weird. So hold on. I did this event last week.
It's got to be on your desktop, maybe. Maybe just shut the desktop.
This is odd. So if this happens, we might have to figure out a plan B as a host. This is odd. So if it's happening. All right, hold on here, folks. We got a weird mode. I think I figured it out there. So we'll find out here in the next 3 or 4 seconds. That was odd. That's never happened. We had some echoing going on, and I think I took care of it. So
It's
far,
gone.
I think we're good.
It's gone.
All right, it's gone. All right, that was odd. All right. So, anyways, Glenn was on our podcast. It was an amazing show. He's built a lot of companies. If you do a lot of driving, you work out, you listen to podcasts, I recommend you listen to that episode. If you haven't heard any of our episodes, that's a great one to start with. And you can just go to luxurylistingpodcast.com. But again, success leaves clues. I was so inspired last week as well. I did this training, as I started to say before we had those echoes. And there was literally non-licensed real estate agents that were thinking about getting in real estate. Maybe some people came for the free lunch. I don't know. But I had people, one guy from Afghanistan, he's only been here in the States for a few years. And he's like, I came because I want to be around other successful people. I want to learn from them. And it was really inspiring. So you're sharing some great nuggets, some great takeaways as well, Noelle, from your experience last week at a conference. And just a reminder as well, we have a blog out there. If you go to LUXE Redefined, that's our blog. We produce some great educational videos. So we were talking about price reductions. You're seeing more and more price reductions today than in the past. Historically speaking, about 33% of homes have to do a price reduction before they go under contract. As of a few weeks ago, we were about 25% across the country, but that is rising quickly. For example, last week in Sacramento at my event, Noelle, I was talking to a guy who had a $3 million listing. He said about a month ago, there were 16 other similar priced properties in the market, and now there's 100. So more sellers, more days on the market. Tell me a little bit about your market in Minnesota. What are you seeing right now, end of July, as far as the market? Are you seeing days on the market increase? Are you seeing more price adjustments? And what recommendations do you have for agents if they are seeing something similar in their market?
Yeah, we are. I think the days on market are creeping up just a little bit. Part of it is seller expectations take a while to get back to reality, right? They've been watching all their friends and family sell, $20 to $150,000 over, right? And so that's their expectation. So as you're going out and you're meeting with your sellers, you do want to make sure that you are understanding what's happening with the market, what's happening with their neighborhood, their particular price point, and you're educating them with actual stats, a lot of times too, I find that if you just take your laptop right into that house and you show them exactly what it looks like on the back end of the MLS, they will be more likely to believe you than if they are just getting the word knowledge from you instead of seeing it with their own eyes. And so coaching your sellers on that is going to help you start out with a more realistic price point and not even have to go through that price drop. Because nobody really still understands that they are going to have to do a price drop if they come in overpriced, because they've been watching everyone else do it and now they've maybe missed their window. I think here in Minnesota, we're really just seeing less of the multiple offer situation. Instead of getting, 15 to 20 offers on one property, maybe now we're only getting 2 or 3, right? But we're realizing that the market is going to catch up. Builders are going to start. I historically have worked with a lot of luxury builders, and that hasn't totally been impacted quite yet. I think it's going to catch up though pretty soon here, and we may start seeing some of those days where builders are looking to work with realtors a little bit more in a partnership way than just dictating the terms. So it's going to be interesting though to see what happens here with the market, and I think we're going to be just in a more equalized market, not necessarily having the 2008 2009 experience, but instead just having a more equalized market, which a lot of realtors were just begging for this a year ago, right? Yeah. Like, please get these buyers out of my car. Please, let's get them into
especially
something.
Especially buyers agents, right? Buyers
right.
agents. I mean, I know a guy that was on my team. He's no longer on my team. He wants to get out of the industry. He was just so burnt out of showing buyers properties, writing multiple offers and losing out, right? Yeah. And so, in a shifting market, sellers need to be more flexible. Yes. Right? They need to be more flexible, whether it be on giving credits or taking care of some of the items that came up on home inspections, on closing dates, terms, maybe price, right? So the other thing about managing expectations, you hit the nail on the head before you go to market. But for those of you that are watching that have a house that's on the market, townhouse, condo, or maybe you're watching this and you're a seller, and the market ultimately dictates price. What you have into the home or what you'd like to get out of it, that doesn't matter, right? So, if you're selling an $800,000 home and you have it listed at 800 and because that's what you'd like to get out of it, but the market is, you're not getting showings, the feedback's negative. That's the going rate then, right? So you got to remember that. And so having great visuals, Noelle, you brought up a good point. So for those agents that have a stale listing, you're not getting the showings, you might have to pull some comparables and some data and have some good visuals. And whether you do a screencast or attach something or go face to face, whatever your comfort level is or your client's schedule is, you definitely have to back it up with data, because, hey, I know what my house is worth. I'd like to keep it here, and they can always bring us a low offer. Well, we're not getting any showings, or showings are sparse. So, ultimately buyers are determined that they don't like your pictures, and we've taken photos 2 or 3 times of your home in the different seasons, or they think you're overpriced.
Yep, absolutely.
So, all right. Any other big key takeaway that you'd like to add from either your conference or just what you're seeing? Again, you're based in Minnesota. You have team members all across the country. I see your Minnesota home image in the background. It looks very nice there. And but no, in all honesty, is there anything else that you'd like to share? I appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Of course, it was a full day of events, so I can't probably get through everything that was at that conference. But I honestly just think that moving into whatever this next season that's coming, that's upon us, don't be scared. Like, look for the opportunities. Try to create opportunity. If you can't see where one is, try to create it, and just constantly be working on your network. Right? Just constantly be working on your network. That is the number one place where you can find new ideas, find fresh things to lean into, find inspiration, have shoulders to lean on when you need them. And don't discount yourself. You know, if you're feeling really down or you feel like you can't do it, listen to some of these people, go on their podcasts, listen to the information that they're sharing, and just try to glean something off of it to make it yours and your own, to give you the confidence to go out there and win the day.
I love that. That's win the day. Some really golden nuggets today from Noelle. And if you have any questions, please type them in. If you're watching a replay of this, shoot me an email, Michael at Marketing Luxury Group, Michael at Marketing Luxury Group, or you can just go to luxuryfridays.com and you can get a hold of me that way. And we'll be sure we pass on to Noelle. And Noelle, thank you again so much for your time. Again, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? What's your website?
You just find me on social media, Noelle the Minnesotan, Minnesotan, and I will message you back. I, like these guys, am also monitoring my messenger and my feed, and that's really, truly the easiest way to get a hold of me.
That's great. Well, hey, listen, thank you again for giving up, your morning for us. I appreciate it. Keep raising the bar, and I'm sure I'll see you at a conference this fall.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for the invitation. I look
All right.
forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Noelle is awesome, great person, as you can see, the Minnesotan, and that's her name on the screen. And she brought some really great nuggets, some things that maybe you've heard before, maybe she explained it differently than you've heard before. And I want to cover some things today that we're in the section that maybe you saw. Those of you who are watching, I'm sure you are, most of my real estate agents, you know what for sale by owner is. A for sale by owner, or FSBO, is something that we're going to be talking about today, because you're going to see in some markets for sale by owner slow down, and some markets you're going to still see a lot of for sale by owner. So a FSBO, or a for sale by owner, is somebody that is selling their property. Oh, by the way, Susan, thank you for jumping on. Susan, happy Friday to you as well. Thanks for jumping in. Let us know where you guys are listening from, where you're watching from. Don't be shy. Please let us know where you're watching. Give us a shout out if you're getting some value. We're trying to raise the bar, not just for the industry, for other real estate agents, for brokers. We're brand agnostic here on Luxury Fridays. We help agents, newer, seasoned veterans. Those of you that are watching on Instagram, go to our YouTube channel, Marketing Luxury Group, and you can type in your questions. But we just had Noelle Nielsen on. Again, I'm your host, Michael LaFido, based in Chicago. We're really excited. We have an upcoming event that I'm speaking at next week, and I want to talk about that right now with you. If you're not part of the various associations that are diversity associations, you really should be. Next week, I'm presenting at the 75th annual NAREB conference, National Association of Real Estate Brokers. 3 years ago, I presented while I was out in New Jersey. And next week, I'm going to be in Tampa, Florida at the JW Marriott. I'm speaking next Wednesday. I'm so excited and so honored. I am a member of the NAREB group. And traditionally, NAREB was launched in the late 1940s because Black agents could not be members of the National Association of Realtors. So they came up with their own group, Realtors and NAREB. And I am a NAREB member. I'm an ARIA member. I'm a NAREP member. I'm an LGBTQ Alliance supporter member. And so it's really important for you as an agent that you get involved, you become allies. And you don't, a white male Caucasian, you can be a member of NAREB, ARIA, all these other groups. They're inclusive and they help raise the bar and help. In this case, one of NAREB's big initiatives is to help increase home ownership for Blacks in home ownership, as well as various other initiatives. So I'm speaking next week. I'm excited. If you are going to be attending, please shoot me a note, and we'd love to connect while we're out there. So that's next week. I'll be at the NAREB event, and we have other events. We just soft launched our next in-person luxury designation, training. It's going to be in Milwaukee on September 21st. It's going to be in Milwaukee on September 21st. More information on that. But if you learn better in person and you want to increase your average sale price, you should check out our upcoming event on September 21st. The website, it's being transferred over from our last event to our next one. So I don't want to send you to a website that isn't finalized yet, but it will be for next Friday's luxury live stream. All right, New Jersey's in the house. Thank you, Susan, for jumping on. And we do have agents from all over, from all brands. So thanks for joining in, Susan, and others that are watching that maybe didn't type this in. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and we're going to go into for sale by owner. Wayne, how you doing? My friend Wayne is going to be doing his live stream next. Wayne, type in the comments where I can put that on the screen, and I'll make sure that we give you a shout out, and tell me where people can jump on your live stream, and I'll pull it up here here in a minute. So that is something. Let me do that right now. My good friend Wayne Pabrocki does a live stream each Friday as well, and I will try to throw that on here. If you're interested in hearing from other perspectives, Wayne is excellent at what he does as well, and that's why we joined forces as business partners. So for sale by owners, as an agent, as a real estate agent, you have to remember what the most listened to radio station is that consumers listen to. And by the way, if you're getting value from these live streams, leave us a like, share it, leave us a comment, leave us a review. Again, we're trying to raise the bar for the industry, so we appreciate any support, any feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, if you have a recommendation for somebody on our podcast, please let us know, and we're all ears. We're trying to raise the bar, and we could always use positive feedback as well as suggestions on how we can make this live stream more effective. But silver platter, you have to think of silver platter mentality. Silver platter mentality. And somebody just asked a question about our shirt. Yes, our shirt that I'm wearing right now. This is my swag. You can find this location. You can find this right at our website, luxuryspecialsgear.com. Luxuryspecialsgear.com. All right. So we're talking about for sale by owner. Somebody trying to sell by owner. You as an agent, what can you do that differentiates yourself? Well, what keeps that for sale by owner awake at night? They want to sell, of course. They want to net top dollar. And unfortunately, what most real estate agents do is they contact the buy owner and they say, listen, call me, contact me when you're ready to hire an agent. Well, what you should do to a for sale by owner is have a dialogue with them. Address the elephant in the room. Let them know who you are and how you might have a buyer. Don't say you have a buyer if you don't have a buyer, but if you might have a buyer interested in their home, let them know. Get a tour of the home, build rapport with them, and address the elephant in the room. Let them know, hey, I'm sure you've gotten contacted by other agents that want to list your home. I'm not interested in listing your home. I'm interested in helping you any way I can, where at some given time, you might decide to crank up the volume knob and decide to get more exposure and hire a real estate agent. I'd love to be considered for that, but more importantly, I like to bring value to the table first and build rapport. And then if you decide to turn up the volume knob and to bring a real estate agent involved, I'd love to be considered, because hopefully I brought value to you versus call me when you're ready to list, like so many other real estate agents have done. So again, providing resources to for sale by owner, address the elephant in the room. I like to ask a for sale by owner, how long are they going to give it before they consider bringing on a real estate agent? How long? So 4 weeks, 6 weeks, another week, whatever they tell you, divide it in half because they get antsy. I also like to ask them, do they have a close friend or relative that they feel obligated to market their home with when they decide to hire an agent? If they say my mom, I used to think, okay, well, this for sale by owner won't ever hire me because their mom's a realtor. Well, that's not true. I recently sold a home where the owner fired his mom and hired me. She was a Sotheby agent and he hired me and we got the home sold. I'm selling a house right now $2.799 million in Highland Park, a couple doors down from Michael Jordan's home, a licensed broker. Tried selling on her own. She brought us on. So again, if they have a close friend or relative, I just like to know, but that doesn't mean they won't hire you. But bring value to the table. Give them a list of your strategic partners, your painter, your stager, your inspector, your photographer, your attorney, your title company. Lead with a giving hand. Differentiate yourself and tell them, listen, if you successfully sell by owner, awesome. I'm hoping that you saw me as a valuable resource that when somebody else is selling in your neighborhood, or when you go to buy, you might consider me. You know, there's a part of your brain called the reticulator activator. It's a part of your brain that heightens awareness to certain things. You buy a new car, you start seeing that car, that make and model all across, your town, or when you're on the highway. Pregnant women notice other pregnant women. That's called your reticulator activator. Okay, it's a part of your brain that heightens your awareness of certain things. You're in medical sales, you hear other people talk about medical sales. I'm in real estate, I hear about others from across the room. Someone's thinking about buying a home, or hey, we're thinking about selling our home. That's called your reticulator activator. So when you're helping them buy owners, they're going through that process. So address that, Mr. Seller. You're going through the home selling process. So if you hear of anybody else that's thinking about selling, maybe they need a second opinion, they're not happy with the results they're getting, keep us in mind, and leave them business cards. I was just out at a restaurant locally last night, and somebody approached me last night about, oh, they recognized my name somehow, and I was selling his parents the house next to the lot next to his parents, and I don't know how he recognized my name. He's not even from the area, but that's called top of mind awareness. So that is what I want to talk about. Bring value to your database. Any questions? Any questions? Great question. Susan says, Mike, how do you find those strategic partners for luxury? Agents always don't share. I have plenty of lower priced homes, but want to get the partners best suited for luxury. So, Susan, you got to kind of, I hate to say this, a friend of mine has taken multiple jobs in his career, and his dad said, go to where the money is. In other words, he had to take a job and pick up his family and go to where those opportunities were. You might have to go to where those opportunities are. You might have to join a chamber of commerce that services high net worth individuals. You want to build relationships with business owners and nonprofits, and you want to dine and go to where these high net worth individuals frequently dine at, and where they visit, and that's a good starting point. Okay, and I'd love to go a little bit deeper on that when we jump on next week, Susan. I'm not sure next week. I'm going to be actually camping with my family next Friday. I'm not sure what the cell phone coverage is, so we might do Luxury Fridays a different date next week. Maybe I'll do it from NAREB. Maybe we'll do it from Tampa on the beach or something. But next week, haven't decided on a time. I'm traveling Thursday morning, I think, first thing. So I might do Luxury Fridays on Thursday, or I might do it on Wednesday next week. But I think my cell phone reception up in Wisconsin won't be the best. So next week's Luxury Fridays will be a different day than Friday, just to be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry than have a terrible experience. We had some audio trouble earlier, so thank you for those that are watching this recording or still watching live. I appreciate it. We had a little echo going there. Not sure what happened, but we got the bug out. So again, any further questions, type them in. Otherwise, guys, again, go to luxuryfridays.com, go to luxuryfridays.com, or you can go to joinluxgroup.com, join Lux Group, and you'll find out more about our upcoming trainings, about our upcoming designation event, which is going to be September 21st in Milwaukee. We're excited. Again, I'm your host, Michael LaFido. If there are no further questions, I just want to thank you for joining. You guys have a great day, and I will have a great getaway next week. Susan, thank you for your comments, and keep raising the bar, guys. And it's amazing how much we have in common if we just turn off the news. They want to divide you. They want to push a narrative that isn't balanced. Again, we talk about diversity. We talk about inclusion. That means all perspectives, not just certain perspectives, right? So be cognizant, come from a place of understanding. And I believe garbage in, garbage stays. So what garbage are you feeding your brain indirectly by watching stuff and listening stuff that's divisive and that is pushing an agenda? Garbage in, garbage stays. Keep raising the bar and prove others wrong. Until next time, folks, I appreciate you. Michael LaFido, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.